Hi everyone. This week I'm very honoured to have Melbourne civil construction worker Joshua Robson on the couch with Liam Demo. As my Movember campaign moves on to another very important topic for men, particularly younger blokes, testicular cancer. Now, Joshua is a testicular cancer survivor and motivational speaker. 2 years ago, at age 28, he found a small lump on his right testicle 8 months prior to diagnosis and did not see a doctor until it started to hurt. Within weeks, he was told the devastating prognosis over Zoom by his oncologist. Now, despite the scary news, Joshua trained through his entire chemotherapy treatment. Incredibly, he beat the cancer and completed Ironman Cairns and a 56 kilometers ultra marathon in Switzerland post-chemotherapy. Here's our interview.
Hey,
Simon,
Joshua.
How are you?
How are you?
Thanks, how are you?
Good, thank you. Hey, I just want to thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to have a chat about testicular cancer. But let's just start off by having a chat about how did you initially find that you have a problem that turned out to be testicular cancer? How did it all start?
Yeah, well, I just go about my day-to-day life, working in construction and I'm a triathlete now, so I just do a lot of bike riding, and I just had this little tiny pea-sized lump on my right testy, and I just thought it was from the bike or knocked it at work. I didn't actually know what it was, and so I ignored it. And then about 12 months down the track, it just started to change formation a little bit, started to hurt, and got to the point where it was unbearable to walk. I was in a lot of pain, could hardly drive a car because of the vibrations. Yeah, went to the doctors, and pretty much immediately from an ultrasound, I got booked into the doctor, straight to an ultrasound, told not to go back to work, and then my story unveiled pretty quickly.
Right. So, if you don't mind me asking, how large was the lump when it finally developed?
Half the end of your pinky, so probably half of where your nail ends. It's just sort of like 10
Oh,
mil
okay. Yeah.
long, really small, just a small lump, and it got a little bit bigger, probably got to the size of the end of my finger.
Right. So it's almost like the
And
size of a pea, yeah?
yeah, sort of a
Okay.
pea. It probably got a little bit larger than that for when I got it checked, but
Right.
it was the size of a pea for probably 12, 18 plus months. My first message to everyone is
Yeah.
as soon as you get something abnormal in your body, get it checked out, because it could have saved me a world of drama.
Yeah. So I always talk about encouraging young guys who are in the risk bracket between the ages of 20 to 40 to do their own self-check. Were you conducting a self-check at the time, or did you just happen by chance because of the pain that you were checking out, like what's going on down there?
Look, and that's where I'm probably a little bit naive and disappointed in myself. I did not self-check. I think we all know when we have something abnormal down there, we know about it. And I was just being, pretty much obnoxious, just going, nah, I'm good. It'll go away. And it didn't until it got too unbearable.
Yeah.
So I think everyone, if you're in the shower and washing your balls, well, you're going to notice something abnormal if you do feel it. Sometimes it goes, and it's probably lucky if it does give us warning signs that it hurts, because we can get ourselves checked out. But just don't be. My advice to other people is don't be how I was.
Yeah.
Don't think it's going to go away. Don't think we're big and tough and you're going to beat it, because at the end of the day, I learned the hard way, and I'm one of the fortunate ones to get a second chance after going through what I did. Is if you got anything abnormal, get it checked out.
That is such great advice. Guys being guys, we tend to ignore what happens and then, it'll sort itself out. I'll be all right, and then but you're actually not all right. And it's okay to get yourself checked out, especially when we're not even talking about like coming down with the flu. Guys seldom talk about health related to, especially with the private parts. It's kind of embarrassing. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want anyone to look at it. It's the same conversation I have about prostate cancer, which affects much older men as well. So we have to really break that barrier and that shame and that stigma, and address it as any health issue and get yourself checked out. How did the doctor tell you your diagnosis at the end of the day?
It was really interesting. So I went to the ultrasound, and then they said, you got to go straight back to your doctor first thing tomorrow morning. So don't go back to work, go to your doctor. And I remember I got an appointment first thing in the morning and told work I couldn't go in. And I still remember clearly walking into the doctor's office and sitting across from him. And he actually told me that he said it's 90% chance testicular cancer. He can't confirm it without biopsies, without testing, without actually, further tests from actual cancer sort of the cancer hospital. I'm a real optimistic guy. I'm really positive, and I was like, yeah, they've got this wrong. Like, there's that 10% chance that it's not, and they've stuffed this up because I feel good. I'm strong, even though there's a little bit of pain down there. I think it's just something wrong. So he pretty much just said that there's a 90% chance you have testicular cancer, and we're going to refer you to a cancer hospital. And that was my choice of going. I went to Peter Mac in Melbourne.
How did you take the news?
I remember going to the swimming pool after it and just putting my head in the water and swimming laps after laps. I swam a couple of Ks and just saying, they've got it wrong. They've got it wrong. And yeah, just because I was so fit, I was doing pretty much Ironman triathlon. So I just thought they've got this wrong, and then sort of the first time it sunk in was the next opening at Peter Mac was probably 48 hours or 72 hours later, 2 or 3 days later. And I remember walking through those doors for the first time. That was when it actually sunk in to go, okay, if this is real, you have to be in a real world. They've told you it's 90% real. And I was looking at people that had no hair, the people that were really pale, doing chemotherapy. And that was probably the moment walking through those doors that I had a fair bit of panic. But I thought, I'm about to join these people. I'm about to, if they're right, I'm about to go. And that's when it sort of shocked me to the system that, yeah, no matter how fit you are, no matter how strong you are or anything like that, as soon as you get told something like that, and to me it was about to be confirmed, without your health, you have nothing.
How did that make you feel, that realization?
Yeah, just to pretty much why I'm talking to you now is if I can educate other men or other humans that as soon as you have something abnormal, if I'd gone and got myself checked out 6/12, I can't remember the actual date of how ignorant I was, but as soon as I found out that I had an illness, if I'd have got it checked out, I maybe wouldn't have been in that position to know that it was so, it was bad.
Tell me about your treatment process.
So I remember meeting my oncologist, and he pretty much told me that to confirm that it was cancer, they had to perform surgery to remove the right testy, and that's when I panicked because it was pretty shocked. Like if I said to you, hey, I'm going to take out your right nut, you're going to be pretty scared. They go, hold on a minute. They took it out to confirm it was cancer, and they did other tests in the time. And then in that time, they did test and revealed that the cancer is spread throughout my body. So I had a mass the size of a tennis ball in my stomach and minor spots on my lungs. And we had 2 types of chemo. I can't remember the exact types, but we had 2 options of chemotherapy that I could go through. And I picked 2 chemicals called cisplatin and etoposide.
Yeah.
And that was 4 rounds. So the rounds consisted of 5 days. I was in the chair 8 hours a day with 2 weeks off.
Right.
And repeat that 4 times. So that was an experience. It's one of the most memorable. It'll be one of the most memorable experiences of my life in positive and negative ways. Just experiencing myself going from absolute 100% fitness to pretty much a dead man walking. And I think I can say that was pretty horrible on that 4th cycle, but then trying to build up from that to get back to full fitness and health. And trying to stay active during that time was also tough. But
how was your support system around you when you went through this process?
We were in COVID-19 at the time. We're in Melbourne was in complete lockdown.
Yeah.
And for me, I like to be very independent with my challenges, my battles. So I went to the hospital. I had my wife with me. She was there every step of the way. She was my absolute rock and support, my major support. I had my brother, my family. My parents were stuck in New South Wales in the lockdown, but my closest friends and family were there every step of the way. And that was a massive help. I couldn't have done it or got through it or got this what I call a second chance without them. So yeah, very grateful. But I also found that being in COVID actually helped. I know a lot of people think that they help in that, but to me it helped me. It was less traffic on the road. There was more spots to car park. That no one could visit me that I didn't want to come visit, even though I would have told them no. But it just gave me a little bit more space. So having my friends and family around me was it played a big part in my journey and recovery.
Yeah, I just realized, because this happened about 3 years ago.
Yes, I was diagnosed in May 2021.
Yeah, and to happen during the COVID period would have been absolutely stressful, I suppose, where you do want people that you love to be literally physically around you. So you have to live through those limitations as well. Would have been pretty challenging mentally for you.
Yeah, more just from my parents. My family's from country Victoria. I was in Metro Victoria, and they created that back whatever, you couldn't get through. So that did make it tough. We got a few weekends around the place, but yeah, not having my parents here from New South Wales played a massive part.
I understand that fighting testicular cancer can have a profound impact on your perspective of life, and you have done some amazing stuff since, with Turn Up. Can you tell us a little bit more about Turn Up and the work that you do?
Yeah, I'm not a very social media person. I don't share a lot of my stories or a lot of my personal life. But since testicular cancer, I just thought when I got diagnosed and I couldn't be bothered with so many messages to different people and phone calls. So I just started an Instagram page called Robbie One Nut. That was the way I would just communicate through that page to tell everyone what was going on. I got some amazing feedback, and a lot of people come out of the woodwork saying, "Hey, I had a cyst. I actually had testicular cancer," and all these people, and like everyone each to their own. I found that I just wanted to share my story to educate people. Through my journey, I kept training for triathlon. My brother got involved and raised money for testicular cancer for Peter Mac, and we did an Ironman post chemo. And a lot of people wanted to hear the journey of how I trained through it. And I went and spoke to a run club, just a little 10-person run club, and shared my story. And the way these people were looking at me, I was like, this story is actually, to me, it's normal. But to these other people, it wasn't so normal. So that's from that night, that little pub in Port Melbourne, I created Turn Up and went to another gym, then another run club. And now, it is slow, but I have spoken to over probably 4,000 or 5,000 people and shared my story and shared what I went through, my journey, chemotherapy, have a feel of your nuts and all these things. And regardless of what happens with Turn Up, it's slowly just tinkering away. I get, one gig probably every couple of months. And it's just really good speaking to people and having that impact on the world. And I'm just so grateful to bring my experience to others, because if I can change other people's lives, not to go through what I went through, well, then it's a big tick to help others.
Awesome. That
So,
is
yeah.
really so inspiring. And I think, to share your personal lived experience of a cancer survivor, and especially for men, young men, to take on that message is so important. As a parting note, what would be your one advice to all the young fellas out there watching this video?
Well, pretty much, like I have changed a lot since my diagnosis, since my journey, and I've said it a couple of times now. This is my second chance at life. Like when you're sitting there on your chemo drip on your fourth round, you can't blink, you can't breathe, you're just looking, wondering what life could have been. It's my major piece of advice would just be, without your health, you have nothing. So get your regular checkups. We service our car as soon as that little sticker in the right hand side, it says, "Hey, your car's service." We have no hesitation of going to the mechanic and booking it in. Book yourself in once, even if it's once every 6 months. I'm sure it's better than what everyone's doing now, because if you just even pick up the slightest thing early, it can change your life and it could save your life. So it will continue to allow you to live life to the fullest. And I love doing that. And as soon as I didn't do that, these things then impact your mental health. Like if I didn't get better and I couldn't do my triathlons, my ultras, my endurance sports, it would in fact impact my mental health. So everyone has their hobbies, their love, what they do. Without your health, you can't do that. So health's number one. Without that, you've got nothing. So get regularly if you can, and everyone should be able to.
That is such amazing advice, and it's about regular checkup. And it's also having the tools to understand how to do those checkups. And it is the self-test, as I always stress, it is so simple. It is really so simple. If women can be empowered, and they have, to do their own self-examination for breast cancer, men should be able to do that with ease as well and without embarrassment. That's really, really good advice. So how are you doing now?
I'm doing great. One thing I'd like to just put on that there, as you were speaking then, I was thinking the other thing that I'd just say to everyone out there is that I was one of the people that say that it wouldn't happen to me, and it did happen to me. So when you look at all these poor stories on the news, the newspapers, wherever it is, you think, oh, poor bugger, it wouldn't happen to me, and it does. So that's just the finish on that part. How am I doing now? I'm doing exceptionally well. I do have the first things first, that I had my little boy 2 weeks ago, so that was just a massive tick. And that's for anyone out there that does go through their struggles with testicular cancer. And I got told from my post-test after getting retested post cancer, that to have a child naturally was almost impossible, and we did it naturally. So just always have faith, hold on to hope, and live life to your healthiest as what you can. So my sports now is back up and running. Still got a few issues with testosterone and still working on that, but if that's the only sort of issues I have post cancer, I'll be forever grateful if it doesn't reoccur. So I can deal with that. I can deal with feeling a bit slow and sluggish and hurting every now and then. So, but yeah, I'm just grateful to be able to. I've done an Ironman since. It didn't go exactly. I've done 2 Ironmans post cancer. One went to plan, one didn't. Just enjoying my ultra sports, being a dad now, spending time with my family and my wife, and just living life as if it's each day's my last now, because every day is so special. And honestly, after what I've been through, life it's magical. So yeah, it's pretty special.
Joshua, thank you so much for having a chat with me, and I really wish you all the best with Isaac and your partner, and have a great, loving family around you to support you all the way, and good luck for all your triathlons and endeavors ahead of you.